What is up, everyone? Long time no see on this channel, on this podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. The amount of people that are watching right now, I don't really know, but last time I checked, it was a substantially small amount. But that is okay because this podcast is going to be available for everybody once this is done. So you can go back, watch it. So I'm going to drop some knowledge bombs on you today, and then we'll talk, we'll chat, and then we'll end it, and then I will let you know about the new schedule that's going to be going on and with the podcast, and we'll be good to go. So let's start. Let's get the ball rolling. And remember, if you guys, or any of those of you guys who are tuning in, if you want to ask a question, you could just ask it right in the chat of the podcast, and I'll make sure to answer it right away since there's a small amount of people in here. So I can make sure I can answer your question and not miss it. So let's get right into. I guess I'm gonna start off with I guess why this podcast. This is kind of the beginning, a new beginning to the podcast. So I'm gonna answer why the podcast, and then we'll get into more stuff and what's gonna be going on. What my plans for the future with this podcast. So the why is I wanted a magician's podcast, but not strictly a magician's podcast. One that uses a magician's mentality. And looks at everyday problems, issues, and people's stories, and just overall a place where magicians can go to kind of get away from just magic. You know, for those magicians who I'm going to have on the show, is step them out of their comfort zone and get them away from just strictly magic. Because, you know, we see them as just magicians, and we don't look at them as people, and we don't see who they are as people and what they like to do outside of the world of magic. So that's kind of my plan for this podcast and the direction I want to go with it. So, you know, it should be fun, but this podcast is going to be short. I just want to let you guys know that right off the bat because, you know, obviously it's just me this time, and it's just me talking directly to you guys. So I'm just going to keep it short, simple, and we're just going to go over a few things, and then I'm going to end it. This is more of like a test for me to see, because I just did a whole new setup, as you guys could see. For those of you guys who tuned into the previous podcast, I had a completely different setup. This was all green screened. But right now we have this whole backdrop set up, and it looks really nice. Joe, do you mind going and shutting off the light over there? Sorry, guys. Just so there's no glare on that on deck. I'll get my assistant, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, there we go. All right, looks so much better. I forgot to do that before I went live. But all right, guys. So we got into the why. And I wanted to explain, you know, this isn't going to be strictly magic. This is for me, this is for you, and this is for people who I want to have on. So people, guests we might have, or might not even be magicians. They might just be my friends. And I would love to just, you know, talk to them, people who do different things, filmmakers, streamers, gamers, anything. You know, I'm looking for anything on this podcast. So you guys might see a wide range of different types of people on this. So, you know, it should be a blast. And yeah, that you know, pretty much covers the guest, and I would love to hear your guys' suggestions. So if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, please let me know. Either go to my Instagram or the On Deck podcast and shoot us a DM and let us know who you would like to see on this show. And then, you know, it's like, why should you listen? And, you know, I kind of covered that earlier. It's getting away from that, you know, just strictly magic, and taking a chance to step outside the world. And if you're a magician, this is a podcast for you, and if you're not a magician, this is still a podcast for you. I'm trying to make it so it's for everyone, and we kind of, you know, we'll cover a lot of things, and let's step into, and this is kind of, we're getting more in the direction of what I wanted to step into during this podcast, and that's kind of how to start off in magic, how I started in magic, and how if some of you guys are not in magic, how you can start in magic. Because again, this is the beginning podcast, so this could be the beginning to everything. And so we have our first comment, which is awesome. Being sneaky at work. Hi, Nick. Good seeing you back on the on deck. Yep. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So basically, you know, if you're starting off in magic, or how I started in magic, I started how most people start in magic, and they get their first little magic kit, or they get their linking rings and their cups and balls when they're young, and you know, and that's kind of how we start, and we call ourselves magicians throughout our entire childhood. But I don't really look at that as being a magician. Yes, you dabbled in magic, you kind of learned here and there, you know, you had your nice little routines, you barely performed. I see really, like, you know, when I ask somebody how long have you been doing magic for, I don't expect to hear people say, you know, I don't want them saying, oh, since I was 4 years old, because that's bullshit, you know, unless they were heavy into magic, you know, read their books, stayed updated, like went and performed. But I don't know that many 4-year-olds that are doing walk around. So So people start magic. So like for me personally, I've been seriously into magic the past 2 years. I dabbled in it when I was young, and I did it here. I dropped it there. And even like the very first time I met Joe over here. So the person behind the scenes over here is Joe. What was it? I showed you magic in the library, because we both had like fractured, broken bones or something. Yeah, we were all injured and stuff, and that's kind of, I remember showing a magic trick in the library. But that was like, so I dabbled in it here and there. It wasn't something I really took seriously, because me as a child, I wasn't like, I was gonna be a professional magician when I'm older. I didn't think I was gonna do anything with magic, but then lo and behold, 2 years ago, I kind of started getting into it. That's when I met Xavier, and we kind of started getting it going again. And he kind of helped me out a lot with, kind of teaching me a lot when it came to magic. Because, I knew my double lift. I knew everything that I needed, and I thought I was. Because here, where I'm located, there's no magicians. There's rarely any magicians. So I never really came in contact with another magician before. And being the first magician that you really come in contact with is Xavier, then I got my entire world shit on, because like it's my level of magic that I've seen in person was here, and then I meet Xavier and it's here, because the man just freaking amazed me with his hands, and and it was crazy. So it was a huge eye opener. And that's kind of was like when I first saw him started doing the stuff that he was doing. I was like, holy crap! I really need to learn a lot more, like a lot more. And that's kind of when I dived in, and I really wanted to absorb as much magic as possible. And I tried to learn, I tried to read. I really took it more seriously, because I was looking at it with a really childish approach, and I really didn't care for it. It was just a hobby. And then when I met him, he kind of nudged me in that direction of, okay, this is something great, because it's like, again, like it was being fooled again. And I love that feeling of being fooled, and me seeing cruise like performers and like hotel performers. It's like I thought that was it for magic, but then seeing Xavier perform in person, that's kind of what really opened me up and kind of got me started on this magic journey, and that's when I started taking it seriously. So that's kind of how I kind of got into magic, and that's kind of what I recommend. I recommend taking it seriously. There's a lot you could do with it, and that I promise you. And it's just if you do it right. So obviously my approach was social media and being a social media magician, and kind of going at it with that way. I started with the card throwing, and that was kind of my thing. I wasn't exactly so much magic. I was a magician at heart, but I did the card throwing more on social media, because that's kind of what did well. And that's kind of, sorry, I was getting a phone call here, so that kind of like threw me off my track. But yeah, so I saw card throwing as a more different approach on social media, and that was kind of my angle that I wanted to take it with. And that's kind of what got me started. And I was obviously doing magic also, but the card throwing is really what got me going. And that's kind of like my start in magic, and that's what I recommend to everybody, and that's what I recommend how people get started themselves. Start magic. Before you start posting, make sure you know what you're doing. Learn as much as possible. Start posting after you learned a good amount and you've practiced a lot, because don't post unless you feel that you've, I guess, mastered a move in a way. Or I mean, if you say, hey, I'm working on this, what do you guys think, and you post it, that's fine. But don't post anything, in my opinion, that you don't feel is there yet. And again, it's social media, and that's what I don't understand, is when people flash on social media. Like if you flash a move, it means you weren't willing to put the time in to take the shot again, and and try to really get that, so you're not flashing. And I've flashed before. There's been times where I posted a video, it's got a bunch of 1,000 views, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then somebody comments and says, hey, at this point, at this frame, this was a little flash. And I would look and I would see, and I'd be like, oh, damn. So obviously when you're at that point, you're not going to take it down. But like, it's one of those things where like when you blatantly flash, or like you blatantly mess up a trick and you still upload it, that's the thing that I have problems with, and I don't recommend doing that. So, take the time, record yourself, make sure you're not flashing, and then you know, post it. But that's kind of my approach for it. And you know, post as much as you can, as frequently as possible. So you know, this is especially if you're getting started off in, you know, Magic, and you kind of want to start getting into the community and start you know, making a name for yourself. Post as much as possible, post high quality content. And you know, and people are like, oh, but I don't have that great of a camera, I don't have that great of you know, editing software. As long as you have a phone, you're good to go. You're in the game. I just sound like Gary Vee, but but yeah, you know, if you have a phone, you're good to go. There's editing softwares on the phone that you could film with the phone. It has a great camera, trust me, it does. And that's the approach that you should take it. Film as much as possible, edit as much as possible, upload as much as possible, and then eventually, once you start getting, you know, money, if you start working with brands, then you can start putting that away to then buy a camera, buy editing software, but take it slow. It's baby steps. And that's kind of the way to approach social media. And again, you know, I'm gonna go back to what I said before. Make sure you know what you're teaching, and that's completely different. We'll get on that topic, but make sure you know, and you've practiced, and you're good at what you're posting, because social media, people are gonna see right through it and eat you up if you're not good at it. Trust me. People love to call other people out on social media, and they love to shut you down. So like, make sure you're confident, and you show it a couple people, and they're like, okay, yeah, that's good, because people will destroy you on social media. I've had some people that are just freaking, it's crazy. Like they even if they don't know the method, they love to be they love to be so sure of themselves and post the method in the comments, and it's just a pain in the ass. And if you are that guy, don't be that guy, because nobody likes that guy, especially not me. And I always wanted to, here we go. I always wanted to dive into Magic, but didn't dare when younger, and not knowing where to start. Tried again as I grew up as an adult, but the girlfriend thought I was childish, so I didn't get into it enough. And only recently, a couple of years, and thanks to social media, like people like Chris, Alex, Xavier, and some more, including you, thank you, did start taking moves and slights really seriously. Sad I wasted so much time, and glad that and finally, but not yet confident in posting my humble stuff. So that's the thing. Being confident in your stuff, and listen, post as much as possible. Don't give a shit about people's opinions. I know I said you got to be cautious about those people and stuff, but you just block their comments, and and post what you love to post, but make sure, obviously you know what you're doing. And that's the thing, to overcome when it comes to social media. I definitely feel you on that one. It's some vacations in here. What is up? Thanks, man. I'm glad to see you back on the show. So what I was saying is, don't give a shit about people's opinions. And it's going to be really, really hard starting off with social media. That's something that I should have covered, and I'm glad that you said that. But it's, people love to put other people down. People love to bash on people that are doing what they can't do themselves. So you're gonna get those people. You're gonna get close friends that you thought were your friends that are gonna make fun of you on social media. And that's the thing. When I first started, and I started posting, a lot of my friends from high school and a lot of my friends started commenting like really, really childish stuff that really pissed me off, and I had to block every single one of them. I don't follow any of them, and it's like you think they're your friends, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, that they're posting this child bullshit that is just unnecessary, and it's offensive, and you're like is it really necessary to post that, and why are you doing that? And it's just because they're jealous that you're doing and standing out and doing what they can't do themselves because they're too insecure and childish to do it. And that's something you have to realize if you want to start posting. Don't, if you're too nervous about posting your slights and your moves, don't post your slights and your moves. Post pictures of you with the cards. Maybe take some cool pictures of cards. Get started that way until you're more comfortable at posting your stuff. But maybe do performances. If you're going to go out and perform for somebody, record those, post those. But again, don't care about other people's opinions, because the only person's opinion that matters is yourself. And who gives a shit what other people think? That's the biggest thing. And that's something that I never understood. I never understood when people cared too much about other people think. And that's like even close friends of mine, like when they went to go, not Joe over here. I'm not talking about Joe, but when they went to, you know, like I urge people to be on social media, urge them, and I was like, hey, you need to do it. It's blah blah blah. But there's people they're like, oh, but I can't do this because this person's gonna think this and blah blah blah, and like it pisses me off. It pisses me off because it's like, who cares? You're never gonna see those people again. They're, you know, yeah, whatever. If they're your friend, they're really gonna understand and they're gonna support you all the way. So we have Jeff says, dang, I'm late. You ain't late. You're here just in time. Thank you for tuning in. And then we got simplification. Friends support each other. That's not to say that they don't criticize, but they should be mature enough to do it politely in private. Exactly. So simplification made a good point. Friends do support each other, and if they're not supporting you and they're making fun of you and not doing it, they're not giving you good criticism, and they're just blatantly making fun of you and doing it publicly, they're not your friend. Get rid of them. There's no reason to surround yourself with people like that. There's no reason to have people like that in your life. And that's when, right out of high school, I had to make that jump, because that's when people were really, it was ridiculous. Yeah, I had to see them every day, but then they started posting on my posts and making fun, just like, but they think that they're being clever and funny, and it's just, you know, block them out of your life. Like, I think everybody from my high school, besides from I think 3 people, I completely eliminated. And you know, and our group of friends was we had a bunch of kids, Joe, and it's just they were all just being childish, and you had to just get rid of them, because there's no need for them. They're not benefiting you, and they're just being negative. But yeah, so like, it's the same thing of friends being there's a polite way to criticize someone, and that's the best kind of friend, when they could tell you, hey, maybe this doesn't work, you did this wrong, blah blah blah. And a good person to that, you know, to look to, who does it extremely well, is Xavier. I will go to Xavier and I will show him a move, and I'll be like, hey, I've been working on this, blah blah blah. I'll show him it, and he'll say, that's shit. But he doesn't say like, oh, that's shit, you know, the blah blah blah, whatever. He'll say, this doesn't work, here's why, maybe try this out. Or if I do a post and it's not that great, he'll say, maybe the post didn't work as well, you could change it up, maybe try this. It's providing value and not being an asshole and just saying, I don't like that, you know, I don't like that, but here's why, maybe you should change this up, this is just my opinion. There's ways to go about it, and that's kind of how people are going to react. I've been a musician for a living for about 15 years. That is awesome. I used to critics and trolls. Oh yeah, I'm used to critics and trolls, but I guess I need that jump of filming myself soon. Pics are not an issue though. Thanks. Yeah, definitely. You know, don't be, and it's awesome that you're a musician. So, you know, you understand critics and you understand the feeling of that. But yeah, definitely take that jump. It's you know, people are gonna be assholes. I'm kind of a weird crossroad where I'm making all these friends in the industry, and then my real life friends have been falling off. You have to make sure your friends, again, so here's a big thing to look at, Jeff. Friends, you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So those friends, if they're not providing you value and they're not bettering you, and they're just being leeches, then get rid of them. You know, if you're making people in the industry and they love your hobby and you really get along with them and they're helping you progress yourself and you're posting and you're enjoying yourself, keep them. You know, but if you just find yourself hanging out with them and watching Netflix and not doing anything with yourself, then there's no reason to have those people. You know, yeah, they could be awesome friends. You could see them on holidays. You could see them, you know, for their birthday. That's great, but there's no reason to be an everyday thing. Just remember that. And true, Nick, and simplification, I know I have a couple of friends that I can rely on when I want to test a few moves in a row. Exactly. Those are the great friends to have, and those are people you can go to. And you know. Oh wait, yeah, and Sim just noticed the posters. Space Jam, Bob Ross, Wu-Tang Clan. It's absolutely gold. And then up here you can't see that one. but this one is a Millennium Falcon blueprint. I have this whole wall is covered. I decided to do it for the whole thing, and down here we have like the whole Marvel squad. There's all the Marvel guys. You know, Bob Ross is my favorite. There we go. Okay, so I just had to get that out. But yeah, you know, friends, keep them if they're helping you, and get rid of them if there's no reason to have them, because trust me, it's gonna bite you in the ass. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So and you know, getting back to posting, you're gonna post. So you know, post frequently, post what you feel looks good. Don't care about anybody else, what anybody else thinks. There's no reason to be that way, because at the end of the day, it comes down to you. Don't look at your followers. Don't look at your thing, because that's a lot of people that I've noticed. People start posting, they won't see the growth right away, and they stop posting. People want instant gratification. That's just the way it is. If you post and you don't like the outcome, then post again. Don't quit. There's no reason to do that. Everybody hits that brick wall. Trust me, I've been there in the very beginning, and it sucks. It sucks because you want to be this influencer, you want to be posting, and you want to be this big social media person and get all these likes and followers, and you start posting and you realize that it's not all sunshine, you know, sunshine and rainbows, because now you're not getting any of these followers and you're not getting any likes, and you're growing and you're posting a lot, but you don't understand why you're not growing at all. It makes no sense. But it does make sense. It's a brick wall. It's there to, you know, get rid of the people who are weak and don't want to post, and it's either you stick with it or you don't. Or sometimes you post and you realize, hey, this isn't for me. I thought it would be something great, and it's not what I expected it to be, and you stop. But then there's also those people, which I have, you know, I know people personally that has hit that brick wall and stopped because they don't care, you know, because they don't want to go past it, and you know, it just doesn't make sense for me. But that's kind of just stick with it. Yeah, and Jeff said, yeah, I'm just tired of trying on people and never try for me. I'm coming to the understanding that magicians and cardists are more of my people. Exactly. If you feel that way, that's great. You know, I can't tell you who to be friends with, but yeah. So, you know, if you're coming to that realization and people aren't, you know, benefiting you, then there's no reason to have them in your life. But you could still have them in your life, but you can't just, you know, you're picking up what I'm putting down. Jeff, at least people with passion and dedication to their passion may take great friends, I'd say. May make great friends. Very, very true. You know, and that's the thing. You wanna surround yourself with people that are passionate about what you're passionate about, or passionate about something. If they're not passionate about something and they're just kind of just riding the wave and not benefiting you in any way possible, then in my opinion, there's no need for them. And people may disagree. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to disagree with me and say, you know, any friends are good. But in my opinion, some friends are bad. There's no reason to have those friends in your life. That's just the way I look at it. You may disagree, you may not agree, but whatever. That's my opinion. So yeah. And so again, post what you want to post. You're gonna hit that brick wall. You're gonna have to get over that brick wall. You're gonna have to get over it. Trust me, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. And I hit that in the very beginning when starting YouTube. I was getting no views. Like, when I say no views, like I was posting like I used to do parkour, for those of you guys who know what that is, and I was getting like no views on anything, and it sucked, and it really, really sucked. And then you get the one video that clicks just a little bit, and you're like, maybe there's some hope, and then YouTube punches you right in the face and tells you no, and you're back to square one again. So that's kind of, you know, that's kind of where it's at with the, you know, the brick wall. But you guys are gonna have to keep posting, and eventually it'll come, and you'll get the followers, and that's kind of how it works. So trust me on that one. That's how the system works, and I think that should help some of you guys out, because I've been there. Everybody who started on YouTube has been there. Chris has been there. Xavier's been there. And it sucks in the very beginning. But yeah, once you hit that brick wall, keep posting, and you'll make it over eventually. So he goes, no way, you used to do parkour. Guess that's given with all the fight choreography. Yeah, I used to do parkour. That was like my big thing when I was younger. I was always into, you know, parkour and flipping and kicking and all that good stuff. I still do it now a little bit. I'm recently trying to get back into it because I love doing it. Sorry, my phone just went off over here. Let me just turn that off. Yeah, you know, I used to love doing parkour. It was like my thing, and that's what my content started as. It was just all parkour, flipping, and all that stuff. And obviously, we used to love doing the fight scenes. And when the fight scenes were I mean, technically, I started with that before anything. And Joe, the guy that's off camera over here, is who we used to be in like my basement and like doing like fighting things when we were like 13 years old, right? Like 12 years old. I still have videos of it. So, and in like practice, like we'd throw each other through tables and walls and trying to like make the most dope fight scene and watch action movies and try to replicate them. And that was my childhood. And then it got into the parkour, and now we're here. So I'm happy that I eventually was able to post the fight scenes again, which I don't know, for those of you guys who follow me on my own channel, my personal channel, I did post the fight scenes, and you know, those did surprisingly well, and I was happy about that. But yeah, man, do it. I love parkour. I was never really good at it, but it's so fun. It's literally wing it. Wing it is the art form. Yeah. And for those of you guys who are listening and don't know what parkour is, it's getting from point A to point B in the most creative way possible. And so, you know, if I'm going to go from my bus stop to, say, my house, and I'm trying to get there, you know, flip over and create the most fluent, I guess, way possible to get there and make it look as cool. And you know, parkour would be getting the fastest way possible, and then kind of like tricking is kind of different. Tricking mixed with parkour, it's kind of like flipping and all that stuff. But parkour is really getting from point A to point B as fast as possible, and you know, really striding over objects, vaulting, and doing all that good stuff. It's fun. It's a good time. I would like to get back into it. But yeah, that's kind of where I started with my whole journey. But yeah, I who knows? Maybe parkour video coming out very soon. I don't know. Maybe is that something you guys want to see? I think that'd be funny. That'll be a good time. But but yeah. So yeah, so that's kind of what I did here. Look, we got some more comments. How come? Hey Nick, can you tell us please some tricks to perform for kids, because most of the time they won't get the trick. So tricks to perform for kids. How come commented this. So tricks to perform for kids, visual stuff, stupid magic to stupid fast, and doesn't have a lot to, you know, think about. And what I mean by that is, if you have the appearing cane, or sponge balls are great, D-lights are great. I have this appearing pole that comes out of a bag. That's great as well. And also tricks that I guess make it look like you're like fake harming yourself. Kids love that, I've realized. If you can do anything with juggling's cool as well. But once you start getting into mathematical card tricks, when you hand a 5-year-old a deck of cards and you're like, okay, count 20 cards off the top. Now what you're going to do is take the first 5 cards from the top of that pile, remove them to the bottom, then take obviously don't do those tricks, because kids are not going to be able to follow that. But yeah, so all of the quick visual magic and keeping it simple and fun for the the audience you're performing for. And Simplification said, fight scenes are always great to watch. Also love How Not to Do Magic series on Instagram. I appreciate that, Simplification. Thank you. It's something that I've just started recently for those of you guys who are watching and haven't seen it. It's like this series that I'm doing on my Instagram where it's this funny way of like magic fails and kind of the wrong way to do magic, I guess, in a way. And the guy off screen over here is Joe. Joe, you could peek your head in if you want, just so people can get an idea. There you go. Look at that. But yeah, Joe has been in almost all. Wait, have you been in all of them?
Wasn't in one. I only made it into like the rest of them besides the first one. I think I was in the first one.
What one was the first one? All right, don't hurt yourself. 1 second. Oh yeah, it was the Tyler one, right? You do cardistry or you do magic? Yeah. So Joe's been in almost all of them. And then Jeff said it's all about adapting to your terrain, and that's how I'll describe it. He's talking about parkour. Yes, of course. And simplification said nothing that requires memory either. Adults are bad enough with memory, and the kids forget even easier, which is very, very true. So definitely. Alex said, gotta go. It's the end of my day, job night shift, and want to go home. It's 3 a.m. here, and yep, normal job, and I have to give up music for a few. I had to give up music a few years ago, hence getting back to Magic 2. Have fun, you all. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for staying active in the comments. It's been awesome. Thanks for having us here, and good night. And I guess, you know, just I would like to see you take up music again. It pisses me off that you had to give up music. I think you should get back into it. Any art form is great. So pick up music and Magic again. I would love to hear more about your story. So just let me know. But yeah, that's kind of that. What were we on? We were on Instagram and parkour and all that stuff. This is the next podcast. We're gonna have more of a platform to it, and this is when I think I'll probably have Joe on the podcast to talk about some stuff. Travis said, "What's up, Nick? What's up, Travis? How's it going?" Jeff said, "I've been enjoying the series too, and by that I mean I do nothing but poke holes in their logic, but think they're both to have fun." thanks, man. But yeah, so that's kind of what's up with that. And I kind of got on how to post, and it's kind of the route we're going. I was only expecting to keep this like 30-minute long podcast. I was expecting to keep it short and simple. Happy we have 9 people watching now, so thank you for the 9 people tuning in and watching. I appreciate your time and tuning into this podcast. And yeah, so like we're hitting around that 30-minute mark. I mean, right now we're at 40 minutes. I know that, but the whole beginning portion, the waiting screen was about 10 minutes. So, but this has been a fun podcast. I enjoy having you guys here, and I enjoy talking to you guys. And I want to do these podcasts in a way. I would like to do them every other night, but I know that's not going to happen. So I would like to do them at least 2 times a week. And that's something that I would like to do and get on the schedule where I could just sit down, talk to you guys, and have a good time and have a blast, and have people on the podcast, and just have a good time. But also simplification. I appreciate you stopping in and you know, replying to everybody and helping me out. I really appreciate it, man. So thanks for being here, for taking care of only the 8 people here, but I really appreciate it. So thanks, Sim. But yeah, guys. So I'm pretty much gonna start up wrapping it around here. So sorry for the guys who are just tuning in now, but yeah. So a couple announcements that I have. If you guys noticed the bandana, I haven't really announced it yet at all, but this is my merch. This is gonna be coming out very, very soon. So I have this new merchandise for the Nic Suriano. I'll show you guys exactly what it is. So you guys are gonna get the first look at it. Basically, no one's ever seen it yet. So here we go. If I had a drum roll effect, I would show it to you guys. But here we go. This is the bandana. So pretty dope. It's got my tattoo. It's got actually both my tattoos. So those of you guys who don't know, I got this guy right here. If I could rotate it towards the camera. Then I got the swords on my forearm. For those of you guys who don't know, so what better design than this stuff? So when you fold it up and you wear it on the head, you have the king right across the head, and it looks dope. So yeah, that's so no one really knows about it yet. And yes, it's on the giveaway. That's something that I wanted to announce as well. Giveaway winners get announced tomorrow. So I'm gonna randomly generate it through those comments, find a winner. 3 winners actually. So if you're watching and you entered, thank you for entering. If you haven't entered, head to my Instagram at Nic_Suriano, NIC_SURIANO, and enter the giveaway, because I'm giving away a bunch of stuff: hats, cards, bandanas, all that good stuff, and you're not gonna want to miss out. So yeah, bandanas. And then I'm working on a deck too. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So that's gonna be exciting. And Simplification said, "I like that, and I need one. Also, I need to hide from my girlfriend since she seems to like bandanas." But yeah, so that's kind of what's up. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm happy this live went well. I was nervous that I wasn't gonna be able to run this smoothly, and I'm happy that it's running at a decent frame rate and everything looks good. So will you be at Magi Fest this year? I would like to go. Are you gonna be there, Travis? I'm hoping to go. That would be fun. Actually, when is it? Because I went last year, and it was a blast. I really enjoyed myself. So yes, I would like to go again this year. But thanks guys for tuning in. I will see you in the next the next podcast. And we'll do it very, very soon. So make sure you're following on the @TalkOnDeck Instagram. And that's when I'll keep you guys updated, and I'll let you know when the next podcasts are, and we'll figure everything out through there. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next podcast, or on my Instagram, or my YouTube, and all that good stuff. So I'll see you guys soon.